11th, Saturday night. It's currently storming like a humdinger outside right now. I feel unsafe. It's something in the air, or maybe even someone nearby watching. I know it. I feel like something is gonna happen. Maybe it's just the storm. Granted, in these trying times, how can anyone feel safe with World War II happening? Franklin's up to his knees in work ever since Pearl Harbor in 1941, trying to put an end to this chaos and protect the USA. Even in these trying times, we're still coming together. Last year, they had the Dumbarton Oaks Conference, where the UN planned and negotiated among its leaders.
Jeepers! Who could it be?
Milk delivery.
Milkman out doing deliveries this late at night? Seems odd.
What's buzzing, cousin? I'll get you a lettuce and you can be on your way.
Now this doesn't taste right.
What are you doing in my...
And in that moment, I saw who my killer was. None other than...
It's a shame about Roosevelt passing away. A cerebral hemorrhage, huh? So I guess that means Truman's gonna have to step up.
Thank you for meeting me here, Detective. I know you've been out of business for a while. Oh, you heard about Roosevelt too, huh? He was a fine man. He instituted reforms, helped the economy grow, and even decreased the unemployment rate. He led the Allies during the war. After Pearl Harbor, he made more military decisions and instituted more reforms. Seems sense that the Allies will be winning the war after all.
Cut to the chase. Why did you call me here?
Very well. You're right. It's not right for me to go off on a gobbledygook. Listen, Detective.
I'm not a detective anymore, Mary.
The portions keep getting smaller. I guess with all the rationing and people using coupon rations and food stamps to get food through the government, these restaurants aren't doing well, as many people probably would find it more affordable to just cook food from home, such as wives making cold meat sandwiches like usual.
Right. Sorry, Nancy. I called you here today to find out who in fact murdered my sister Elaine.
You know I don't do stuff like that anymore.
Listen, my grandmother too just died.
My condolences.
I inherited a large portion of animal farm that my sister was supposed to receive. All I'm saying is, I can provide you a hefty sum of clams for your time.
She's right. Even though unemployment has decreased to less than 1 million people of the nation, my average salary is only about $1,299 yearly and about 43 cents an hour. Though there is the recent lowered individual income tax down to 5% because of the Revenue Act of 1945.
I thought that might grab your attention. So what do you say, Detective?
Looks like I'm on the case. Now, Mary, this is going to be kind of painful, but I need you to walk me through what happened when you found your sister.
Very well. It was Sunday morning, and we were meeting out for brunch, and then we were going to go to the theater later to watch the movie, the Mildred piece. I heard it won an Oscar.
About what time did you say you got there?
Well, I left my house at about 10, so about 10:20, I presume.
Well, that's interesting, because here it says you only reported the murder at about 12 o'clock.
Well, I will always deliver my sister her mail, but I forgot my key, so we went back home. By the time I got back, I wouldn't be able to get in, so I broke the windows and got in.
And that's when?
That's when I saw her lying on the ground. I tried to wake her up, but...
I see. Now, Mary, I need you to stay with me. Now, try to remember, did anything seem out of the ordinary at the house? Also, did she have any enemies that you think would do this?
Nothing's out of the ordinary, but I got the files back from the autopsy my family took. It said that the milk was laced with thallium.
Poison, huh? Killer was smart, but we can still get some leads from this.
Also, the only enemy I can think of is her ex-fiancé, Mr. Charlie Sherfield. They were to be married in a few months, but he cheated on her. He's saying things like, women should only clean houses and stay at home with children. He's a chemist across town.
Is that so? Well, Mrs. Johnson, it sounds like we got ourselves our first lead.
Say, Toots, what's got you cooking?
Mr. Sherfield, am I right to assume that you're a chemist?
Wow, you aren't as dumb as you look.
Mr. Sherfield, I'm going to need you to cooperate with me.
And I'm going to need you to go back to where you belong, i.e. the kitchen.
Mr. Sheffield, I need you to understand what's going on right here. I have 5 men currently searching your house, and I'm not afraid to come back. Do we have a clear understanding of each other? That's what I thought. Mr. Sheffield, can you identify this for me?
Now that there's thallium used in rat poisoning.
And I'm assuming you're well acquainted with the news of your ex-fiance's death?
Why, yes.
Well, according to her autopsy, she's died of a thallium poisoning. Now, according to my research, you're working with that exact same element in the chem lab.
Now hold your horses. Are you accusing me of killing her?
I'm not accusing you of anything, sir.
I was at a Sinatra concert. Elaine left me anyway.
Well, it's not her fault someone got all dog dizzy, now is it?
I didn't kill her.
I think we're done here, Mr. Sheffield.
Why, hello there, ma'am.
Hello, Miss Holmes.
Oh, please, call me Carol. I assume that I'm here because you got a couple of questions to ask me about that poor girl Elaine's murder.
Correct.
Well, I'll be happy to help in any way that I can.
Now, am I correct to assume that you're the one who usually delivered her milk?
Yes, ma'am, I do, usually on Mondays. However, this week I had to cancel. I went and got one of those newfangled synthetic teeth fillings. They were invented about 5 years back in 1940, and they've been a great improvement for my family. They've made it a lot cheaper on a lot of us.
Very well. You're free to go, ma'am.
Thank you, dearie. I do hope you find her killer soon. She always was sweeter than an apple pie.
Thank you for your cooperation.
I'm stumped. I'm missing something. I have no leads. I checked the security camera at the Sinatra concert. Mr. Sherfield's alibi's airtight. They only invented that security camera back in 1942, but it's really been a savior to so many of my cases. It couldn't have been Miss Holmes either. I checked her with her dentist. She's in the clear. The only lead I have are the footprints of size 8 Mary Janes with traces of thallium within the imprint I found near the house when investigating. I need to trace back to the beginning. Mary said she found her sister dead Sunday morning after getting the... That's it! I know who the murderer is!
I've gathered you all here to reveal the murderer among us. Let's start with you, Miss Holmes.
Who, me?
Yes, you. You presented yourself as a very, very likely suspect, as you were her milk deliverer, and that's the exact way she died. Now, luckily for you, I have reliable sources saying otherwise. You are no longer a suspect. Now, personally, my number one suspect was you, Mr. Sheffield.
You ought to watch that fine line you ran there, Missy.
But alas, due to recent evidence, you're no longer a suspect, no matter how badly I want to put you behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it has to be someone else who committed the murder, right?
Miss Johnson, what's your shoe size?
Size 8. Why?
I'm the one asking the questions here. Now, my memory's a little bit shoddy. Could you remind me what you said you did before you found your sister?
I got her the mail.
See, this is where things get interesting, because I knew something didn't add up.
What do you mean?
Nothing. It just interests me that you were checking the mail when we both know the postal service doesn't deliver on Sundays. More importantly, when I was doing my own investigating around Elaine's house, I found something very interesting. Size 8 Mary Jane footprints released with thallium, the very drug that killed your sister. We have a look that's the very stomp of size and style you're wearing right now. What do you have to say for yourself?
It's not my fault. She got the whole animal farm estate after Nana died. It was supposed to be for me. Nana loved me, not her. Not that she shouldn't have got it. Not that khaki-wacky sharecrop.
Now, I suppose that'll do for a confession. It's really quite smart when you think about it. You sent me on a wild goose chase right after Mr. Sheffield right here while you were hiding under my nose the whole time. And to keep yourself from looking suspicious, you went after a detective who you thought lost her touch after being out of the business for so long. It's really quite a smart plan. It's a shame it would have worked out quite well, huh? Well, if it wasn't for little old me.
You'll pay for this, detective.
Ah, you can tell that to the judge. Cops, take her away.
It's been a month after the arrest, ever since the world has drastically changed. Hitler committed suicide and the Guatemalan Revolution has advanced. From the sum I received from catching the murderer, I think I'll move far away. Maybe farther up north, start a new life for myself. Mr. Sherfield is back at it again with the new damsel, and Miss Holmes is back to her usual milk delivering. I think this is really the end of my detective career. I just hope Miss Johnson doesn't keep to her promise and get after me. Better play it safe than sorry and get out of here as soon as possible.
She said, yeet.
No,